Hi, I'm Trent Bosch Tools. And in this video, I want to show you how I grind my radius scraper tips. There's two different kinds. There's the negative rake grind and then the standard grind. And they're very similar to grind, but we'll go through them both just so you can have a better understanding of it. The first thing I do when I'm going to grind those, and I don't do this with all my tools, is I'm actually going to take the tip off of this tool. That allows me to just have that tip by itself and to take that very light grind that I'm planning on taking. So first thing would be to just use the right Allen wrench, loosen that, pop it off, set the tool aside, and now we can go to the grinder and go ahead and sharpen this tip. Like I said, I have the standard grind tips and then the negative rake tips. I primarily only sharpen the bottom bevel on both of these. You know, there is no top bevel on the standard grind, but there is that top bevel on the negative rake grind, but pretty much always just sharpen the bottom until that top angle is pretty much gone. So the first thing I want to do for whatever tool I want to do, I want to set up my table on my grinder at the right angle for that tool. So let's start with the standard grind. And that standard grind, from us, when we grind it, has about a 75-degree angle on it. So what I would do with that is I would back this off a little bit and I would angle this till it's at about that 75-degree angle. We can do it by just looking at it and kind of looking at the side here and trying to match up that angle. Or we could use a digital angle finder, which basically this one's set up so that it's at 0 when it's level. So when I set it on the table there, if I find 15 degrees, that's going to be, that's pretty close to 15. That's going to be my 75-degree angle. And I would lock that down, and then I would just be able to set that tip on the grinding table and rotate that tip around, getting that angle that I want. When working on the grinder, be sure to wear your safety glasses, a face shield, and even a respirator when you're working on the grinder is a great idea. So when I'm going to go ahead and sharpen this is a slow speed grinder. I've set the angle up the way I want it, and I've locked down both of the points on this particular one. Right now on this grinder I have a 120 grit stone wheel, and that's going to work just fine. I could use a CBN wheel as well, but the stone wheel works great. So let's go ahead and grind this tip. I'm just going to go ahead and start on the back there by where it goes into the screw, and I'll rotate it around. Just gently grinding all the way around. It produces a little burr on the top of that cutter, which is exactly what we want. That burr allows us to get that nice smooth cut that we're looking for. And if we got our angle correct, it should just be a very easy, quick thing to go ahead and sharpen that tip all the way around. And then that one's ready to mount back in the tool and we're good to go. So 75-degree angle on that guy, just grind that bottom bevel and you're ready to go again. So the negative rake grind is a little bit different. It has that top angle and bottom angle as far as those two are concerned. The top on this one is a 15-degree angle and the bottom is a 45-degree angle. With those two angles together, it's a 60-degree angle, so the included angle of that is a 60-degree. And anywhere between 60 and 65 as far as that included angle is what I like the negative rake scraper to be at. It works best at those in my opinion. So let's go ahead and set this up to about that 45-degree angle. We can use this little angle finder. That's pretty close. I'll use that to start, and then I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to actually look at my angle as well. It looks close, but I think I need to change it just slightly. That looks good. One thing worth mentioning is that on my little platform for my grinder, I've ground a little bit of an angle on there, kind of relieved the material behind this plate so that the plate can get in there a little bit closer to where we're grinding, and that just allows it to have better support, and you're not hanging off the edge quite as much. So again, I would just go ahead and hold this tool down flat on the table and rotate it around, grinding that bottom angle. Like I said, maybe I didn't say it yet. That top angle I don't grind very often at all. I just would grind that bottom angle for quite a while until that top angle is almost gone, and then it's time to regrind that top angle. So you don't have to mess with that every time you're doing the grinding on your tool. To do that top angle, we'd get this even closer and at more of an angle and get right in there and really be able to grind that really steep top angle on there. So basically that's how you grind the negative rake versions of the scrapers. So after you've got it ground, what you're going to want to do is just put it back on your tool. You can put these tips on the tool in a variety of different ways, depending on where you're working in the form. Most of the time I just put them in kind of the standard sort of direction, and that allows me to do really pretty much the majority of the shape hollow forms that I do, just putting it on the tool like that. So nice thing about these is they have that slot, so you can just slide, you just loosen the bolt just a little bit, slide it out, grind it, slide it back in, and you're off and running again. Hope this just gives you a little bit of a understanding of how I sharpen my radius scrapers, and hopefully makes your process a little bit better, a little bit faster. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe below, and feel free to email me as well anytime, and talk to you next time. Happy turning.